Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another show of Fuente and Meerapfel present Meet the Professor. Hello, world.
Hello. Happy Sunday.
I had to scoot back a little bit.
Happy Sunday and happy New Year's to everyone out there. We hope you celebrated so well and you managed to do something because 2021 is going to be the best year ever.
I agree. Happy New Year's to everyone.
Yes, I am so
I
excited.
can't believe we're actually here. January, we're here, ready and willing. Have you seen Carlos, my brother's post? Like he is ready to attack 2021.
I love
all
it.
the
The horse
ideas,
with the
all
shields.
right? So we're ready. We are ready.
Amazing. Well,
And I'm
ladies and
gonna-
gentlemen, I'm happy today because I'm surrounded by two of the most beautiful women in the industry. So this is going to be a treat
Thank
for me
you,
today.
Jeremiah.
I love it.
We're more honored than you, darling. You're the
not at
youth
all.
and the beauty between both of us.
That is true.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a hell of a guest. I know all of you are very, very excited. This is going to be one of the greatest shows we've ever had. This is a gentleman who's been with us for the last year almost on a daily basis. He's filled our hearts. He's filled our knowledge base. He's filled our homes. He has brought to the industry something extremely special. He's brought to us individually even more. Ladies and gentlemen, please warmly welcome to our show, the one and only Mr. Reinhard Pohorec. Reinhard, welcome to the show.
Much. Thank you, Jeremiah. It's my pleasure, a privilege, and my honor to be here with you all on the Meet the Professor show presented by Fuente Meerapfel. I'm honored.
Now, this is my treat today because normally Reinhard sits on the other side of the table. But today, we are going to be interviewing him. So Reinhard, you better buckle up and hold your chair because it's going to be a wild party.
Actually, it feels the very same way for me as well, Jeremiah, because I've become very familiar with the process of running those interviews on, as you said, almost a daily basis over the past 9 months, almost 10 months now. And it's been one hell of a ride. Actually, before that, I was used to being on interviews myself quite a bit, so it's familiar and home turf for me, if you will. But obviously, the Professor Show is something entirely different, and this is huge. So I can't wait to get things started. And here's to new beginnings. Here's to a delightful 2021 for all of you people out there. And what a hell of a year it's gonna be. I know that for sure.
Absolutely. Reinhard, we're going to take this opportunity to learn about you. You've brought everybody else to our households and you've brought everybody else to us, but you've become quite a personality yourself. And we'd like to understand, who is Reinhard Pohorec?
To tell you who I am, let me tell you where I come from. Because I've learned over the course of my life that you got to know where you come from in order to know where you're going. And I do come from a very simple and humble background. We never had much as a family, but we had the family table. And my earliest childhood memories are actually standing in the kitchen with my grandfather and my grandmother. She's actually just behind that wall, and she will be 100 on January 8th. But I was with them, and we were standing in the kitchen kneading dough and baking bread. And that's what brought us all together. It was the family table. And so from a very early age on, from my most humble beginnings, I learned the passion and the respect for a simple, honest, handcrafted product. And it was only later in life that I realized everything that I do takes me right back to those roots. And it's all about that. It's about a wonderful product. It's about the people behind it, the honesty, the love, and the appreciation that you put into it. And it was quite a journey till I got to that point and to where I am right now, today, here with all of you, because I studied socioeconomics. I worked with handicapped pupils. I was a skiing instructor to finance my studies, and I almost became a professional drummer. But all of that, it wasn't truly me. I haven't had discovered my true vocation, my calling, and my passion in life. And it took challenging circumstances. It took a severe illness and me reconsidering my entire life till I finally sat at the Wine and Spirit Education Trust at the very first day of my basic seminar, basic course, learning about soil, about terroir, about history and geography, about grape varietals. And I had a glass in hand and I could smell and taste, and that was the light bulb moment for me. That was when everything that I heard, everything that I was about to learn and encounter and discover, it was so real, it was so tangible. I could smell and taste it. And that feeling just never let go of me. That just never left me. And that's really what I am most passionate about, and what I love the most is to connect those dots, to take the wonderful product and the people behind it and to discover that and to bring it to other people. And so that was, as I said, the light bulb moment, and that kickstarted my whole journey. I got into wines, and then in particular spirits. I became a bartender because I wanted to do something tangible and practical on the side yet again. But from the earliest days on, I always started to give seminars, give lectures. I worked as a teacher and trainer for a bartending school. I gave wine seminars, spirits lectures, because I wanted to share. I wanted to introduce other people to the wonderful things that I had discovered for myself. And since we never had much as a family, that was all new for me. Hospitality was new as a profession. The spirits industry, food and beverage. For the first time, when I worked in hospitality, I could go to the most exciting and famous places. I worked at the American Bar at the Savoy, probably one of the 5 most iconic bars in the world. So it was one hell of a journey, but it was always fueled by my ambition to inspire other people, to share outstanding stories, to share wonderful products, and most importantly, the people behind it. And so today, my life and my entire work has 2 very simple, basic principles. And that is treating other people well, welcoming them into my world and the world that I can possibly build for them. And that is what I call hospitality. And hospitality is the why to everything that I do. It's the underlying core principle. It's the reason. And on top of that, the second principle is experiences, multisensory experiences. And to not just have an experience, but to create it. And an experience needs to be memorable. It should be mesmerizing and meaningful. And so experiential design and creating those holistic, inspiring experiences is the how and what to what I do. And I just realize every single day, whatever I do, it's going back to my roots. It's what I learned from baby days on and what I experienced throughout my entire professional career as a bartender, as a speaker, as a lecturer, as a musician, as a trainer. And ultimately now, also as a journalist in the cigar industry and as a sensory expert and experience designer. It's hospitality, treating other people well, and it's creating those moments of pleasure, those experiences that ultimately will touch people's hearts.
Reinhard, tell us more about the bridges between the hospitality, the bartending, and cigars. There is so much in common. I've had the privilege myself throughout the last 30 years, well, I shouldn't say this, but anyways, to find myself behind bars and behind some of the greatest of the greats. And people don't realize the level at which some of these people find themselves at. This is the crème de la crème, such as any other industry. But the spirits industry definitely touches part of the soul in the same way as the cigar industry. There's a certain magic which is laying there. Please tell us about it.
It's mesmerizing to me to see the similarities between the spirits industry, the wine industry, the hospitality industry, and the cigar industry. But let me just re-emphasize that nobody in my family ever worked in hospitality. And when people think of hospitality as a profession, first of all, still, it's not always taken seriously as it probably should be, because sometimes when you're tending bar or when you're waiting tables somewhere in a restaurant or a bar, people will actually ask you, what's your real job? Or when are you going to get out of university, right? But I didn't learn hospitality as a profession, but I learned it through my family, through just our dinner table and the way my grandfather, my parents, and the people around me treated themselves and treated other people. So I see hospitality as a way of life, much rather than a profession that you can learn. And there is where the similarities lie, because it's that sprinkle of magic. It's that little fairy dust that just takes a random encounter to a whole new level and is the building block of an experience. And when you think about the soil, the terroir, as we always call it, I mean, spirits and wine, and even more so, I came to discover the cigar industry. It's the purest essence of the people. It's the essence of history, tradition, culture, heritage, of the very soil. I mean, we spoke about this on our interviews. It's digging up all these little elements of magic from the ground and working with everything we were presented with, the climate, the nature around us, and then assembling it into an artistic, handmade, most honest and most humble product like the cigar. That to me is just utterly fascinating. And then once you cut the cigar, you light it up and you take the first puff, you immediately feel connected with everything behind it. And it's like you feel in your heart everything that the people before you had put into it. The farmers, the growers, the rollers, the master blenders, and even the people in the middle who distribute, who import, and the retailers who sell cigars. In that moment, you are connected with all of them. And not just with them, but also with the people around you. And that's where another element of hospitality and cigars seems to come together, that once you light up a cigar, it's like you become part of that global community, that global family of people who enjoy and appreciate handmade premium cigars. And I've seen people come together from all walks of life, the multi-millionaire all the way down to the simple blue-collar worker. And I feel the very same is true with hospitality. When you're standing at the bar, when I am tending bar and hosting other people, we're all the same, we're all equal, we're all one. Because we come here together in this moment to share and embrace the moment, to enjoy a wonderful handcrafted traditional product and share and embrace the moment with each other.
Very, very well said. Now, hold that thought because we're going to move on. Now's the time for Neil the Professor. As many of you know, because Jose stated this yesterday, unfortunately, he wasn't well. He fell a bit ill, but he's doing much better. I managed to speak with him and Emma today, thank God. And he's doing much, much, much better. So we're here to reassure, and he was there to reassure that he sends his love to everybody. And of course, Reinhard, he considers you as a great grandson, as I would say it to him, just to piss him off a little bit. But no, joke aside, he considers you family, and he's of course very sorry that he can't be here on the show with you and with everybody out there watching today. But he does send his love, and he's going to be with us very, very, very quickly. In the meantime, we're going to continue with Neil the Professor. We're going to get Melanie here to start asking her questions. We're going to pop Carlito up to say hi to Reinhard. We're going to get Cynthia in here.
Yeah. Hello, Reinhard. How you doing, my friend?
Carlito, it's my pleasure and honor. So great
It's
to be
always-
here with you.
No, the pleasure and honor is always mine. Just absorbing every word, every meaning. So sensitive, so captivating. You're amazing. You're amazing, and you're an amazing young man, and you're such a great contribution to our world of cigars.
I thank you from heart, Carlito. And let me tell you, it wouldn't be without yourself, without Cynthia, Jeremiah, Melanie, Jose Blanco, of course. You all have given me the opportunity, and you've welcomed me into this world, into this ecosystem and the community of cigars. And for that, I will be eternally grateful. And let me also say that my thoughts and prayers go out to Jose. He's accompanied me throughout the entire year, and it feels like I've known him forever. Jose, this show is for you as well, and for everything that you have built. And I'm eternally grateful for everything that you've presented me with. And I would very much like to also extend that gratitude to Reinhold and Katja and the entire Cigar Journal family, because they have also believed in me from day one and have given me the opportunity to enter the cigar industry and become part of that global family. And it means the world to me.
And we'll get back to the Cigar Journal just a little bit later. But in the meantime, Melanie, is there any questions for Neil the Professor? Because they're going to have to nail Carlito and I today. You're on mute, kid.
I like that. All right. So, guys, be sure to put in your questions for Neil the Professor. I have not seen any yet, but if you want to, this is your chance. Are you kidding me? This is Jeremiah, and all of those questions that Jeremiah doesn't let you ask, now is the time. So put those questions in the comments, and I'll be picking them out, and we'll ask them a little bit later.
Right. And just for the record, Carlito and I are not afraid. So you can shoot questions, tobacco or not tobacco. We'll take them on.
Yeah.
Right, Carlito?
Well, I'm not at the bar right now. I'm in my hotel room, so I don't know. I'm much better at those challenges in the bar.
I agree. Well, I'm gonna have to get a bottle of whiskey somewhere here. They'll help me out.
I could help you with cognac, Jeremiah.
Oh, look at that! What is that?
Well, he's got the whole bar behind him.
So these are Swarovski crystals. It's true Swarovski crystals, same as up here. And this is an XO from the Grand Champagne, the heart region of cognac. It's made by a very dear friend of mine, a small bouilleur de cru, as you say. So it's a gentleman who grows his own grapes. He does his own base wine. He distills himself, and then he ages the juice and assembles it. But in this particular case, this is a private label for a wonderful gentleman and scientist here in Austria. And I'm in charge as a master blender for this particular cognac. And it's a delightful XO and a fabulous cognac. Also great to enjoy and pair with cigars, obviously.
All right, I see there's questions coming through the roof here. Melanie, you want to read them out? The first one here from Steven.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so Carlito, name the hotel where they always had the big smoke in NYC.
The Marriott Marquis. Ha ha ha, Steven.
Oh, come on. That was too easy. Next question.
No.
All right, Jeremiah.
No, Steven. Now you tell me on which floor was I on when the elevator got stuck.
That's fabulous. All right, Jeremiah. Why does the Cameroon wrapper on cigars have have kind of a sweet taste?
What kind of easy questions is this? Come on. First of all, it's not what kind of Cameroon wrapper. The only wrapper with that taste is Meerapfel Cameroon wrapper. So guys, you got to get your story straight. All right. If it's not from Meerapfel, it's not from Cameroon. And if it's not from Meerapfel, it certainly doesn't have that sweet taste. It's from the amount of magnesium that's charged in our virgin soils. Meerapfel Cameroon is grown on virgin soils. Only tobacco of that style, which is grown in the way that we grow it with our proprietary seeds. But there's very special soils that we move to every year. And when you burn magnesium, it has two attributes. It burns very, very white and very, very sweet. And that's why you have kind of what do you call them? The goosebumps on there, Carlito?
Oh,
you call them pimples, goosebumps. Yeah,
pimples, exactly. That's it, guys. So that's it. Next question.
How deep is the snow in Utah, Carlito?
Holy shit. You know what? I tell you what, it's a lot deeper than it looked like on the inside of my room looking out. When I walked out, I walked back in. It was deep. No, I tell you what, there was areas that must have been like 4 feet deep, where they piled it up. Listen, I'm from the islands. I'm not used to this. I'm in my hotel room and I got the heater at 85 and I'm freezing. I got my hand warmers. And
you did pretty good, though. You were out there with us.
No, that's true. But I tell you what, it was cold. But the kids had such a great time and everything. It's nice to see them, full of so much energy, laughing together and falling in the snow and just having a great time. It was very nice. So I thank you for asking, Melanie. Thank you.
All right. How do you select which plants to use for seeds?
Again, easy question. So we do it the old-fashioned way. We walk through the fields. We look at which plants are the healthiest, which give the biggest leaves, which have a certain amount of attributes that we're looking for. And then we basically select the seeds for that particular plant. Carlito, what do you guys do at the hotel?
No, I agree with you, Jeremiah, but someone might misinterpret what you said. We don't necessarily look for the largest plant because then the seed can become degenerated. You look for the plant with its classic attributes. It's the one it's the plant that has the actual classic shapes, the leaves, the classic shapes, that's fully developed, healthy. Because if you start looking for the largest, tallest plants, eventually your plant will become something other than what it really sort of intended to be.
I agree. I agree with you. I was referring to the leaf. Cameroon originally has very small leaves, as you know, and what we try to find is leaves that extend, that the bodies extends a little bit wider. Something
Correct.
We've been trying to develop, as you're very much aware, because you've been part of it for the last 20 years plus, and which slowly we have a bit more of the what do you want to call it? The
development,
it's like
the heart shape. Yeah.
The heart, exactly, of the heart shaped, exactly. But it takes time, guys. It takes a lot of time, and years go by, and you get these little progressions. Unfortunately, it's not quick enough. But when you do things naturally, like the Fuentes say very well, you can't rush the hands of time, right?
You can't.
Exactly. All right, one more question real quick. Wait, I'm going to go to this one, which I like this one better. Who is having the better palate, Carlito or Jeremiah?
Who says that? Let me answer the question. It's very simple. Carlito Fuente has the better palate. Yeah, it stops there. I mean, come on, guys. What kind of stupid question is that?
I liked it. I thought it was funny. All right, Carlito, one more. Here's a question. What is Cynthia smoking this afternoon? I bet I know.
Probably, it's one of two. Yes, that's a typical Carlito answer. You've been watching the show for quite a while, Mark. That's a typical Carlito answer. Yes, it's probably either Cynthia's personal Between the Lines or it's a Don Carlos. It's one of the two.
Ooh, you don't think a Casa Cuba?
Oh, you know what? I thought of that one third, but I was going to leave that answer for you.
Well, no, let's see. Let's ask her. No?
Let's ask Cynthia. Let's get Cynthia in. All right, here we go.
What is it?
Cynthia, we got to take you off mute.
Okay,
there you go.
Okay. I chose a Hemingway short story with the African Cameroon wrapper. But I do have my Between the Lines, and I also have my Casa Cuba for later because it's Casa Cuba Sunday. Yes. So they're all good choices. Beautiful. But I have this sweet, beautiful short story.
Oh,
it's good to start a Sunday with.
That Hemingway.
Okay, we got a question from Ray. What's this one?
All right. So, question to Jeremiah. As far as I know, Cameroon came from Indonesia. But did you try to grow Cameroon and other types of tobacco in like the DR, San Andreas, or Connecticut broadly?
As far as I know, Cameroon came from Indonesia. That's right. The Cameroon seed is an Indonesian seed, like many other tobaccos, by the way. But did you try to grow in Cameroon other types of tobacco? Yes, we actually have, and we actually are. There's a lot of stuff going on in our fields. And it's surprise, surprise, gentlemen. You'll have to wait and be patient until we've developed it right. What else do we have here?
No, just wait till we drop some more napalm, Jeremiah. We got some big surprises.
Oh, we have a question.
Yeah.
We have a question from a lady. Let's see this one. So, question to gentlemen: is there a cologne or aftershave that you love wearing when smoking cigars?
Extra men.
Wait, ask that again.
Oh my gosh. Question to gentlemen, is there a cologne or aftershave that you love wearing when smoking cigars? Or is there something you definitely should never wear when you're smoking cigars?
Yeah. You want a truthful answer, in my opinion?
We can handle the truth.
You can handle the truth? I think you have to be subtle and not go crazy. I mean, the cigar smoke and smell and the taste is something which is very precious and difficult to arrive to. When I see the amount of work that goes into what Carlito and other manufacturers do, it's insane. When I look at the work that goes into, just growing the tobacco, it's insane. It's a pity to overwhelm it with anything, whether it's cologne or anything else for that matter. So my opinion is try to keep all of the exterior smells out as much as possible, unless you have an experience that you like it and that you enjoy it, in which case it's all about enjoyment. So have fun.
Yes, I agree.
And unless it's the beautiful perfume of a beautiful lady, then you don't complain at all.
Only Chanel number 5.
Well, talk about Chanel. Chanel and tobacco, that is the aroma, that's the smell of Carlito Fuente. I just can't be without it. And, but one thing, Jeremiah is absolutely right. Tobacco is very, very sensitive. It's like a sponge. It absorbs every aroma. It absorbs every fragrance around. If you wash your hands with a soap, a perfume soap, and you grab a cigar, you will ruin your cigar. Your cigar will pick up that soapy taste. The same thing with any perfume, cologne, or creams. There's situations that have happened in the past that we've gotten a cigar, and we go, wait a minute, we got to find out what's going on. Someone put cream on their hands, and I pick that up instantly. It's something. It's almost like my body rejects it. So you got to be very, very careful with those kind of exterior fragrances or aromas.
Awesome. Are we going for another one, Jeremiah?
Sure.
All right. Which opens?
Alex.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's Alex just posted. Nail the professor. Why is Here we go. Alex is going to try to nail us. What is Alex asking us?
When switching the position of a tobacco within a blend, it changes the taste of the blend, even though the ratios aren't changed. For example, crisscrossing binder and wrapper.
Absolutely. Totally different cigar. No question about it. The wrapper has such a big influence on a cigar in the position where it's in. And if you change the binder and wrapper, you have a totally different cigar. Let me give you an idea. What comparison that I've always made and try to illustrate first. It's a lot clearer for people to understand. If you get a ice cream sundae, you got vanilla ice cream, you got a scoop of vanilla ice cream, and you pour hot chocolate on top, or you pour strawberries on top, or butterscotch, you got a totally different personality, different flavor. Even though the vanilla ice cream is 90% of the volume, and the adding is only 10%, but it has a strong influence, the same way with the wrapper. And if you change the binder to the wrapper, unless Jeremiah's smiling, just in case he wants to nail me, unless the wrapper and the binder is the same exact tobacco leaf, then it might be a little bit. Yeah, I saw that coming.
Your Carlito is unnailable. You just can't nail him. It's impossible.
He knows you very well.
No shit. All right. What's this one here? Oh, God. This is an easy one.
Oh, what is Melanie's favorite drink with her cigar? Oh, Lord.
All right. Now, I'm going to be truthful. And Melanie, you're going to have to be just as truthful as I am. David, Melanie's favorite drink with a cigar is an alcoholic drink.
Yes, I do like the taste of that together. But
Exactly.
I have been drinking a lot of green tea lately. I'm digging the green tea and the coffees lately. Oh my gosh. Well, they're like lattes.
Is anybody going to be able to nail this, Carlito? I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
What year
don't
did
think
Carlito? What year did the manufacturers start using cigar bands?
I always read in history that it was for the Queen of England to protect her
year?
delicate finger. It was way before. It was way before I was born.
Okay, so nailed. There you go. He said it's BC.
No, it was way before I was
Poor
born.
Carlito.
It was.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. It's correct. It's good. It's a pass in my books. What's this question here? Did you try to use Cameroon for binder filler and then cover? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it works fantastic.
Hey, what's up,
Cameroon
Ray?
binder is used widely throughout the industry, and it's also used as filler. It gives a sweet touch. It works. What else?
She says she's craving. I'm craving a sundae too. I'll take one as well, please. Uber. Oh yeah, which Opus X size was released after the first original release?
What was the question again, Melanie? You're breaking up.
Which Opus X size was released after, was released first after the original release?
I think it was the Fuente Opus X A. It was the A size that came after the other classic sizes. Yes. And an old friend of ours, or a good friend of ours, or a young man by the name of Pete Johnson assisted me in the packaging, who gave me advice where we were going to be when we were packing everything. And in the individual slide top mahogany boxes inside that huge big cabinet. So, Happy New Year, Pete. Thank you for that great suggestion. It's definitely proved to be worthy.
Okay, I like this one too. Well, there's this one. Has anyone ever made a Cameroon Pure?
As a matter of fact, I have, but it's not the best thing in the world to smoke because it's missing a little bit of body. Cameroon Pure is a little bit flat, and it lacks a little bit of guts to it. So you need to spice it up with something. And anyways, Carlito and I will talk about that another day.
All right, so then I love this one. Is it more fun to smoke cigars with blondes or brunettes? This is my girl. She is fabulous.
Carlito?
First, let me know.
That's a question that was intended for you.
Well,
blondes have more fun. That's all I gotta say.
I'll answer you as soon as you let me know your girl, your friend, what color is her hair. And then I will tell you.
I think it's blonde.
Oh, I love blondes. I love blondes. My favorite. Blondes, of course.
Oh, that's great. Oh, it's fantastic, guys.
All right. I just remembered we have a guest of honor today. Should we get back to him?
Yes,
please.
Okay. That was fun.
All
right,
off
guys.
the hot spot.
All right, let's get off the hot spot. Okay, guys, ladies, this was terrible. You haven't managed to nail us yet, but hopefully next time when Jose's back and you'll try to nail him. All right, Reinhard, back to you. Here we go.
I certainly wouldn't dare trying to nail either one of you. But let me tell you this, I will create a bespoke drink for Melanie, and I'll create a bespoke perfume, Jeremiah, for yourself, Cynthia, and for Carlito. It's going to be different ones, obviously, but you're in for a treat. I'll take care of it.
When you create the bespoke Meerapfel perfume, I hope that you put a hint of Cameroon in it. Meerapfel Cameroon, that is.
It'll be there for sure.
All right, back to you, Reinhard. So you just told us an incredible story, and I think a lot of people out there are just dazzled by hearing, who this young man is and how he's grown to become this incredible personality within the industry of the what do you want to call it? You'll call it something better than I. The gustatif, olfactif, yeah. Anyways,
sensory experiences.
Exactly, the sensory experience. And here you are now, and this has transitioned into the cigar world. And here we are today, 2021, and you have an entire foot in the cigar industry. Why?
Let me go back again in history a little bit, because cigars have somehow always accompanied my adult journey. When I turned 18, I went to a typical American bar in Vienna. I put on the one black suit that I had and the tie, and I bought a simple, rather inexpensive machine-made short filler cigar. And I went to that bar, had my very first cocktail and my very first cigar. And ever since, I was sort of fascinated by the cigar lifestyle and the whole ambience around it. And then, as I told you, I ventured into other things in my life, both personally and professionally, but cigars were always sort of looming in the background. And as fascinating as it might be, every now and then you run into those little situations in life that just seem to, it had to happen. And some of those experiences led me to the journey of cigars yet again. And it was truly due to the Mountain on Fire event together with Rocky Patel here in Austria, where I actually gave a cognac masterclass and a sherry wine masterclass. But I had the opportunity to write a story about that event for Cigar Journal. And through that, I became part of the author team and family for Cigar Journal. And I believe, or I would hope, because Reinhard and Katja probably saw something in me or realized that I had a particular interest and expertise around perception and sensory experiences, I also became part of the tasting panel for Cigar Journal. And that really set me off in the professional world of cigars. And that was almost 3 years ago. So then comes 2020, and I wanted to bring a voice to the industry with a bit of a European perspective, if you will, because there's a lot of contributing authors, a lot of podcasts, a lot of media shows and broadcastings for the cigar industry out of the United States, but hardly any out of the European or even Southeast Asian context, with few shining lights like Ferdinand with Ministry of Cigars aside. But I wanted to start a podcast called Light 'Em Up because I wanted to host people, as I always did. I wanted to bring people together, to give them experiences, to provide them with insights of the industry. I just wanted to create something that will gather and unite the people who are as enthusiastic about this lifestyle and industry as I am. And then COVID hit, and I was dazzled, and I sat at my desk during the first lockdown, and it was painful for me to think of, am I really losing the opportunity to meet other people, to have social gatherings, to share a great cigar and a great drink with other people? And so I thought, how can I transform all that into a virtual world and still be able to communicate, still be able to meet other people, still be able to connect other people, to build bridges? And so I started a virtual lounge, a virtual bar, if you will. And it was nothing of the most natural and the most authentic translation of everything that I have previously experienced in life into 2020 and the challenges we were facing last year. And I had no clue whatsoever what I was getting myself into. I never had any idea of what was going to happen with Light 'Em Up, and that we would create a global community, and that I even got to sit in front of outstanding people like Carlito and like yourself, Jeremiah, because you are the icons of the industry. And for me, it was mind-blowing to have the opportunity to even share those conversations with you, and then also become a voice for the industry, or much rather a relay and somebody who can build those bridges to bring together all the different parts of the industry, from the growers, the manufacturers, the master blenders, the brand owners, the retailers, importers, the media people, and ultimately the end consumer, because that's what really matters, the people who ultimately enjoy those cigars. And so me having the opportunity to connect those dots, to build those bridges and to bring the people together is what truly fascinates me. And we had almost 500,000 people watching and 500,000 views. We had roughly 80 shows over the last year, and it's just mind-boggling, and it makes me so grateful from heart. I mean, I'm not a media guy by profession. I just happen to have a particular interest and an affinity for voice and for written words. So you can probably tell by me babbling away and giving the most lengthy answers to the shortest questions. But I believe there's always magic in those words, and they happen to be an instrument of bringing everything from the soil, from the roots, ultimately to the people. And that's what I'm trying to do, whether it's through my articles for Cigar Journal or through Light 'em Up, the Light 'em Up world, or everything else that I'm doing.
That is beautiful. You have so much to give to this world, and we're so grateful to have you a part of it, because you're so young and you have so many passions. And it's like where Carlito and I sit now on this time in our lives to be able to see somebody of the next generation with so much love to give in every aspect, whether it be spirits, whether it be cigars, hospitality, all of the aspects. I mean, you do have it, and we can tell that it comes from heart. And if it wasn't for Jose Blanco, I never really would have had the opportunity to be able to have met you. And I was so honored the day that I was able to be on your show. I remember, like, Arturo Saravar always says that when he goes on and does his performances, he always gets this, butterflies in his stomach and so forth, because you're doing what you love. And that was one of the most exciting shows that I had been to. And this year has been so wonderful, being able to meet so many people. And we've been on so many podcasts. But the vision that you had, and it's interesting to know, Reinhard, that you had this before the pandemic and everything, and that you were able to bring it into fruition. And the way you've done it has been nothing but first class. There's no substitute for class, and you have a young man. Thank you for sharing with us today.
Thank you. And I believe you just phrased it perfectly there. It's about the why. As I tried to say before, it all comes from here, and it's just a true and honest expression of what I love the most and what I'm passionate about. It's the people, and it's us being here together and sharing those moments. And I'm just a little humble and rather unimportant piece of the puzzle, because I'm just a
No, you're a very important piece of the puzzle, a very important piece. But it is about love, and we love love. And if you have the love in your heart, you'll be able to share it with the world. And this is what we've had the opportunity to be able to do. We've done this ever since we've been born. Jeremiah, my brother, Carlito, myself, and we've been led through beautiful examples. But we are sharing the love, and that's what's so important. So important to continue to share what we have in our hearts. And we're lucky to have that feeling. We're so fortunate to have that in our hearts.
Absolutely, Cynthia. And I just want to add that. I just want to add that I have learned so much from listening to Reinhard and watching his shows, and have the opportunity to people who I see maybe once a year at a trade convention or within the industry, a hello, goodbye, how's the family, to really get to know the insides, their life and their struggles and everything. And it's brought me emotionally so close to so many of my colleagues, and just listening to you, I learned so much. I grasped to every word, as I said earlier. And one thing that I feel very proud of, that the cigar industry, and as far as the consumers, in the relationship with the manufacturer, with the brand owners, with the tobacco growers, and everyone that you mentioned of this great, incredible community, you're bringing them together. And the future is going to be so much more beautiful because of that fact that we are together. And it's just so exciting and everything. It just, it just listening to you and seeing so many of these shows that we didn't have an opportunity before because we were locked in the factory, or we were in the tobacco field, and we were trying just to, to resolve the day-to-day issues that we face. But now, I wake up with new ideas because I watch your shows, and there's so much excitement because there's always something new to learn, and that keeps us young. And I am just so grateful that
Yes.
someone
Amen.
with your energy, your passion, and of course grateful to Reinhold for introducing you to us and everything.
Yes.
But and of course Jose Blanco. But I just tell you, it's very, very exciting to know that the future for cigar enjoyment, this community is just so full of love and passion that it's just so exciting. I just wish I was 50 years younger to see where you're going to
Me
take it, because
too.
you're going to take it far.
Yeah.
I always remember that Carlito, one day he was talking, we were at our national sales meeting, and he was explaining how he felt that the day that he's on that train, hopefully it's many decades down the line, but when he looks back on that train, he wants to see those people standing there, the next generation, and he wants to feel that it's going to be in good hands. And I think today, Carlito, more than any time, you're knowing that the future is in good hands with young people like Reinhard, with, of course, with Liana and everybody that wants to be a part of the next generation, with Drew Newman and so forth. So when we're on that train later on in life and we look back, we know that this industry is going to continue. And that is so heartfelt. I mean, that is just we're just so grateful for that. I think 2021 should be about gratefulness. Grateful being the attitude, being grateful, because we do have a lot to be grateful in so many ways.
And may that
And we're
train keep
grateful that Jose Blanco's doing better.
I hope that train just keeps going for many more years and I don't get off in any stop soon.
No, but I do remember you expressing that, and that's always stayed in the back of my mind. Just like when our parents were on the train and they looked back and they seen you and I standing there very stern and very tall, because we were going to continue their legacy. Just like Richard felt when he looked back and looked at Jeremiah. And another thing that I'm so grateful for, that Jose is doing better, because we love him so much and we miss him. Amen. So that's another thing to be grateful for today.
Amen.
Reinhard,
Jeremiah, this short story is delicious. With the Cameroon wrapper, baby, from you.
Cynthia, let me also just re-emphasize here, please, that
yes,
I have experienced many different industries, and I believe some of them to be the most passionate, the most honest and heartfelt industries. But I have never experienced anything like the premium cigar industry.
Wow.
And hearing words like yours and everything that Carlito just expressed is underlining that 100%. And it just reassures me every single day that this is the most special and most outstanding industry. And I can only keep learning every single day from everybody, from icons like yourself, from outstanding media professionals like Reinhold and like Katja, who on a daily basis help me to grow, because they are a role model of providing an independent voice to the industry and trying to tell the stories of all the manufacturers and the growers and the master blenders and the brand owners, all the people in the ecosystem. And I also learned every single day from every other apasionado, and just as much from people who have probably never even smoked a cigar, or they just light up their very first cigar in their life. Every single encounter is an opportunity to learn. And I am grateful for all these encounters.
I agree 100%. We're still learning. Even in our generation, there's something to learn every day. I do agree. But, that's an interesting example, like what you're saying, that of all the industries, because I primarily know the cigar industry, even though we've been exposed to hospitality and to the spirit industry and so forth because of the cigars. But I wonder, like, how are the other industries and how are they handling everything to be able to stay united and so forth? So it's good that you're expressing the connection between the different industries, between the spirit industries,
Reinhard, I learned something new just now. You're talking about the industry and all the connections and everything, and how this industry is so different. But I think if you understand tobacco and you understand the history and where it all starts, tobacco is about community. Even from the seeds, you don't plant one seed. Their seeds are gathered together to be able to harvest tobacco. It's a community of people. It's a community of leaves. It's a community when you do the sorting. It is a community. It involves thousands of families, and it involves so many people just to finish one great cigar. And everybody's
every aspect
necessary.
Of it is a community.
Everybody's necessary. So it's a world of human beings, of heart and soul, of working together. And like you see the bees, and with the queen bee and everything, the bees working together. The tobacco cigar industry is like that in so many ways. And tobacco growers work very hard for the tobacco to taste the best humanly possible, because they're working for that end consumer, and everyone is connected from the grower to seed. It's just a big community, all just tied together, just brings happiness and brings continuity and just brings us all together. So there is, I learned something from you today. So it's about community in every single way.
Carlito, earlier today, I said something about my light bulb moment when I was sitting at the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, listening to the seminar about climate and soil and terroir, history, geography, and I could smell and taste it. And now, being specialized on sensory experiences, I could go on and talk about the intricate little details and the sensory nuances of the cigar that I'm smoking. But what does not stop to fascinate me is when I have a conversation with you, Carlito, or with you, Cynthia, and with you, Jeremiah, and you give me a glance into your heart, and exactly what you just said, Carlito, all that community aspect, all the culture and the history behind it, everything that you put into every seed of tobacco. Ultimately, when I'm lighting up the cigar, it is still about the pleasure and the sensory elements that I'm experiencing. But much rather, it provides me a glimpse into your soul. And that, in combination with having the opportunity to share those conversations with you, makes it even more meaningful. And I also believe that's one of the most important, necessary, quintessential elements of journalism as well. And in particular of us when we're writing about cigars, is to facilitate and again to build bridges between you putting everything you have and everything you can into a seed, into a humble cigar, and then you light up and people can take a glimpse into your soul. And that is the unique magic of the cigar industry. And that is the unique magic of the cigar itself, with the people behind it. That through that, I'm honored to take a glimpse into your soul.
Thank you, Reinhard. And I just want to add to that is that soul is alive, and that cigar to me, Jeremiah, and to many others watching this show, that cigar is our communication. When we light that cigar, that smoke goes up. It goes into the heavens and embraces those that we love. And it's giving back that love, that gratitude. I think just said the year gratitude to those who have carved the way for us to have this wonderful and beautiful life that we all share.
Whoa. How am I supposed to continue this show when there's this stuff going around? It's hard to present. All right. Reinhard, a few days ago, I was invited on a show with Reinhold and yourself. And Reinhold said something very important, which got me thinking, which got me promising, and which got me going. Reinhold expressed a problem which he felt was one of the main threats to our industry, or at least an attribute which wasn't helping. Carlito's voiced it many times, so have many others. The fact that we as an industry must get together as one to fight regulation, not only in the United States of America, with the CRA and the various other organizations, not only in Europe, with Cigar Rights of Europe, but throughout the world. We, ladies and gentlemen, are one family. One family sharing the love of the leaf. One family sharing the passion for a prestigious luxury product. One family that would like to preserve a right, a privilege which we've had for generations on end. And one of the greatest threats to this is our inability to get together as one family worldwide. There have been many cases where organizations have come together and have done an unbelievable job lobbying. And most of the responsibility has been on the shoulders of the manufacturers in the United States of America. They're the ones so far that have, in my opinion, led the hardest war. The ones have been financing, the ones that have been voicing the most. And you know, throughout the different shows, my opinion that we as a family and you as consumers, I as a consumer, you Reinhard as a consumer, you Carlito as a consumer, Rich, the kid, Cynthia, Jose, we are also consumers, and all of us together as consumers must rise up as one. You all know that the tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of votes and a signature on a piece of paper is very, very inexpensive. Every single one of you out there is able to do it. It's just a few seconds of your time. Can turn the entire situation around if we just get together. And a few days ago, when I was kindly invited for the end of year show on Light 'em Up, Reinhold voiced his concern that the different organizations are specialists and specialized in the lobbying, in the administration of getting the message across to the right people, but unfortunately are having a very hard time funneling in the people, are having a very, very, very hard time acting as the ambassadors to bring everybody, all of the consumers around the table. And in 2020, I made a promise. Well, in 2021, we're going to deliver that promise. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to create the first association that is going to be run by you, the consumers. An association which is going to bring consumers worldwide, from Australia to Latin America, from Morocco to Brussels. Wherever you might be in the world, the consumers have a voice. This organization will see its light today and will be launched today. And we could find no one better to preside over this organization than Mr. Reinhard Pohorec. Reinhard, why don't you tell everybody about this?
It's a memorable moment when you get to sit down with icons you so dearly respect and speaking to a global audience of people who are passionate about the cigar industry. And I was honored to share with you that everything I do comes from heart and is an expression of my most heartfelt and passionate love for the industry, and most importantly, for bringing people together. And as you perfectly said, Jeremiah, this is the most exceptional industry, but we're facing challenges. And if I can be of help and service to bring people together and to build bridges, to consolidate and to unite brothers and sisters of the leaf on a global level, it is my duty and it is my honor to do so. And I can promise you and everybody out there that I would love to do whatever I can to help and support exactly that, bringing people together independently, no matter which continent, race, which language, which color, no matter which religious beliefs, from whichever walks of life you come from. This is what brings us all together. And I am just a humble servant trying to help bring people together from all over the world. And that is my duty and my mission, and I am most happy to do so.
Please welcome Cigar Rights of the World. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your fight. There will be no manufacturers involved in this organization. It will be purely consumer-based worldwide. All of your efforts, all of our work, all of our teamwork, everything we do will then plug in to the various organizations, whether it's Cigar Rights of America, whether it's Cigar Rights of Europe, whatever it may be. We will be serving them, and our job will be collecting all of you and making sure that you understand what it is that you're able to do to sustain, to maintain, and to protect the industry that you love so much. We are very, very, very honored that we can present this to you. And we are sure that we're going to get everybody involved. We want ambassadors throughout the world to help us. We need voices. We need you to help us to bring this to the next level, to promote it, to get people's signatures. Reinhard will be leading this war. And it's you, ladies and gentlemen, you who are going to make a difference in the long run. Don't forget it. And we're going to be here to remind you every step of the way.
Very good.
Oh, I love it.
Amen. Perfectly said.
Sign me
We have
up.
a lot to
Sign me
look
up.
forward
Sign me up.
to.
That's all I see in the comments right now.
You know how you sign it? Here,
Wonderful.
Melanie, why don't you present how to sign everybody up?
All right, guys. So if you want to get signed up for Cigar Rights of the World, be sure to go to Cigar Rights of the World website. It is www.cigarrightsoftheworld.com. Go sign up, become a member, and protect cigar rights for all of us. I love that. Yeah.
Very important.
You know, I may
Together
be a
we could do it.
I might be a so-so cigar maker, but I think I could predict
together
the
we could do
future.
it.
I could predict the future pretty darn good, because I said that this young man is going to make a big difference in the future of the world of cigars. And today, I've just heard the best and most encouraging,
We've
optimistic,
witnessed it.
incredible news that I have heard, and I can't remember when. So congratulations, Reinhard. if there's anybody that can lead this charge, it's yourself. And I know you're doing an incredible job, and you're uniting everyone together. This is very much needed for all of us.
Congratulations. And if I may say so, this is a great way to start the year.
Woo, woo, I
Right?
agree. Yes.
Here's to new beginnings and to an exciting
It's only
year.
the beginning. Yes, new beginnings. Together we can do this.
All right. Well, a show would not be a show without our friend Rich on, what do we call it? Rich's Riot. Rich, you ready to rock and roll?
Welcome, Rich.
Hi guys,
Hello
I
there.
thought I'd join Team Borsellino today and wear a hat like you guys are wearing. And Reinhard, it's not often in the U.S. do you see a beautiful shawl collar dinner jacket. Yours is terrific looking. I got to send my warmest, wonderful regards to my brother of the leaf, Jose Blanco. I know I just saw some video on the internet of Jose in the hospital room, and I posted yesterday after Emma posted what was going on, and Brenda and I send our love, and also trying to speak for Team Pork Roll. Jose, I know you'll understand that, and I'm sure all of Team Pork Roll and even those suckers that believe in Team Ham Roll will agree that we wish you a speedy recovery. So it's a brand new year. There were some horrible things that went on this past year, particularly with the pandemic, but there was something that went on that was incredibly wonderful. The bringing of these online shows, the love that this industry has shown to the world, with all the different cigar makers we've had on, retailers we've had on, civilians like me who just love smoking a good cigar. It's been a great part of a not wonderful year. Well, it's time for this week's story. I lived in New York, as many of you know, for about 10 years. And because of the rules of New York, pets are not that easy. Sure, you can have a cat, but people that love dogs, you got to walk it at a certain time. You got to pick up after it. You got to do this, you got to do that. So there are a number of shops in New York City that sell exotic pets. And one of those shops was not far from where I lived in the 80s. And they sell all kinds of unusual things. And this nice looking lady walks into one of these stores and in search of something to keep in her apartment, be a friend. And she sees in the shop a box of frogs. And on the box it said, sex frogs, only $20 each, comes with complete instructions. She looks around, makes sure there's nobody watching her and says, hey, I'll take one. And the guy gets her the frog. Just follow the instructions. That's all I ask. She grabs the box, goes on her way home. And as she closes the door to her apartment, she opens the instructions and reads them carefully. Take a shower, splash on some nice perfume, slip into a sexy nightie, crawl into bed and place the frog between your legs and allow the frog to do what he's been trained to do. Well, she quickly gets into bed with the frog in her surprise. Nothing happens. She rereads the instructions, noticing at the bottom of the paper it says, if you have any problems or question, please call the pet store. So she calls the pet store, and the guy says, I'll be right over. Within minutes, there's a knock on her apartment door. She opens the door and lets him in. He says, I've done everything just like it said in the instructions, and the darn frog just sits there. He goes, all right. He picks up the frog, looks him right in the eyes, and says, listen, I'm going to show you how to do this just one more time. And that's the way it went.
It's getting worse and worse.
Those are the best ones. Each week it's even better.
Amazing.
It's even better.
Jeremiah, I have
And I
one.
happen to love frogs. Now I
We
gotta
eat
find
the frogs.
sex
In
frogs.
Belgium, we eat their legs. You know that.
Yes, we used
Lots
to.
of garlic.
I still remember how they taste.
Yeah,
Lots of garlic. They are delicious.
they are.
Everybody collects something. I think everybody likes a little. I love frogs. I collect them, believe it or not. I remember when we lived at Woodlawn where we grew up, and when it was a really rainy day, Like there would be these frogs all over the place, and I used to collect them and put them in a big tin barrel, believe it or not. And used to pet them and everything. Little crazy thing from childhood.
All right, Rich, thank you very much, and
Thank you, Rich.
see you next week for another great one. All right, Reinhard, it's that time of the day. We can go on for hours with this, but unfortunately, the rules are the rules, and we got to bring this show to a closing. But before I ramble off, I'm sure a few people here have a few things to say to you.
Okay. Well, for one, I wanted to ask you, if you had to pick of all the pairings, because I know that you are an expert at that, with your cigars, what is one of your top? It doesn't have to be your most important, but what is one of your top pairings that you enjoy most when you're enjoying your cigar? I would like to know. And then secondly, I just want to express from the bottom of my heart what an honor has been for us to have you join us today for Meet the Professor. We've had so many wonderful people on this show, and I believe that every week it becomes more and more interesting. But today has been such an enlightenment for all of us because you have shared not only all of your knowledge, but you have shared your love, and you have showed us that we have so many wonderful things to look forward to in this industry. And I believe that your mother and father are very, very proud. You are an extraordinary young man, and you have so many gifts to the world. And I know, I'm not even guessing, I know that you're going to make them happen. You have a lot of life, and looking back, I mean, there's no substitute for you. And I believe that you have the whole package. I wish you the most beautiful life filled with health, happiness, and to continue to follow your passions. And we want to be there to watch every step of the way. Thank you for being so beautiful. Thank you for enlightening our world this year with Light 'em Up. And to everybody at Cigar Journal, to light them up. Really, you have brought so much to all of us at home. When this year has been so challenging, you have made it better. So our hearts are open to you, and we appreciate you in every way. And I am so grateful to be able to be a part of your life. I am here for you always, only a phone call away, and I would always love to be part of your life. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And let me tell you that you're making it incredibly hard for me to even answer those type of questions.
I know it's
you
not
said
easy.
this wonderful word.
Just one of them.
And it might sound cliche, but with everything that we've experienced today, if you're asking me for the perfect pairing with a cigar, I believe it's gratitude.
Beautiful.
Okay,
Very well
that's
said.
a beautiful answer. Okay.
And for all of those who are now like, gosh, how could he say that? Give us a drink,
Right.
for Christ's sake.
Yes, give us a drink.
Actually, I love a glass of milk.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Milk.
So maybe lattes?
It perfectly cleanses the palate, or at least it gives you a little bit of a fatty sensation. It enhances the cigar in a certain way, and you can very well. I mean, with the amount of different milk alternatives and variations now on the market, you could really go deep and start pairing individual things like an almond milk with something like an Ecuadorian Connecticut shade wrapper, where you get a little bit of that bitterness together with the nuttiness and almost a savory, salty olive freshness. Or you could go to a darkly roasted hazelnut milk with a more robust wrapper. Or you could go with the queen of milks, like a raw, full-fat milk, fresh as possible can be, with a Cameroon wrapper.
Oh, where are we buying our milk from?
Yeah. You know, it's very interesting
Straight from the
because
farmer next door, Melanie.
Oh, you lucky, lucky, lucky dog.
And I have to say, I mean, me being a spirits professional, of course, there's the obvious choices like your cognac and rum and whiskey, but most honestly, quite often the high ABV can be a challenge when pairing with your cigars. So I'm a huge fan of non-alcoholic pairings, and I've thought about this for the next cigar journal. It's not about the pairing. It's about creating holistic experiences, and every single detail counts. Think about the lighting. Think about the fabric that you have in your hand that you wear or that you're sitting on. Think about the music. Think about the drink. It's all one. Just as we are all one as a cigar community, the experience is all one for every single cigar.
Exactly.
You know, that's very interesting because it's very interesting because I remember this one gentleman, a very young man, he used to tell me that I met him at Davidoff in Tampa, and he used to tell me about the milk pairings, the different types of milk. And for him with his cigar, that's what he enjoyed most. So I can appreciate now. I'm gonna try that. I always love like milk, you know, Cuban coffee. Or an espresso with the cigar. But now I remember this young man, and he expressed that same thing. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Well, Reinhard,
like I say, we're always learning.
I'm going to just add that not only that I learn something new from you every time I have the opportunity to listen to you, but also you remind me of many things in my life that we don't recall in day to day, and that is milk. Of my grandfather, all his colleagues, all
I was
the
thinking the same thing.
of all the time, I was always told as a young man, the best thing to taste tobacco and to be able to see the differences and to clean your palate is milk. And if you listen to a Benjamin Menendez speak or one of the the old masters, they'll probably say the same thing. So like I say, I learned from you all the time, and I'm reminded of things that I was taught as a very young man. But I just want to add to all the beautiful things that Cynthia said, which I agree wholeheartedly. I'm just so grateful that you've accepted this invitation and that we were able to kick off the Meet the Professor 2021 with such an incredible guest as yourself, who has lightened up our life with your words and it's brought us so much wisdom and just so much excitement of our industry. So I continue to follow you, Reinhard. I continue to want to learn from you, and I wish you the very best in 2021. And just stay well, stay healthy, and keep teaching us, because we're here to learn from you. And God bless you. Happy New Year, my friend.
Thank you, Carlito.
Well, Reinhard, can you hear me? I'm getting so excited. I'm pulling all the wires out of my computer. What can I say? There's so much to say. But I think thank you would be the right one. Thank you for becoming a friend. It's nice having you entering this industry and taking a very, very, very beautiful part of it in your hands. It's nice having someone from my generation joining. It's reassuring having some young people around me, so I don't have to be the youngest guy around. No, joke aside. But it's nice having young people entering the industry and finding passion and love for it in the same way that we have. Something which we don't talk about often, but it does worry a lot of us. I'm sure it's crossed Carlito's mind and Cynthia's, my father's for sure, my grandfather's, Don Carlos. What is the next generation going to look like? And I certainly grew up having that pressure on my shoulders. I'm no longer the youngest guy, far from being the oldest either, but the responsibility is slowly becoming more and more on our shoulders. And when we see the quality of the people of the next generation in the industry, Carlito's children, and the children of a lot of other manufacturers out there, the Levins, the Gomez's, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's unbelievably reassuring. It's reassuring to know that we're not alone. It's reassuring to know that there's an adequate army to continue this battle, because this is not an easy industry to be in. It's reassuring to know that there's passion, and passion creates armor, and armor enables people to go out to war every day and to continue the fight for what we believe in, the fight for the traditions, the fight for the heritage which we've been handed down. And having someone like you join this is reassuring and makes us happy. So thank you, Reinhard. Thank you for the passion, the commitment, the work that you're putting in. Thank you for being there. Having another friend means a lot, and you've certainly become one. So I look forward to the next 40 years with you by our side, and taking this industry to wherever it needs to go, or simply to wherever it's going to end up going. But in both cases, we're going to be right there, walking hand in hand. Thank you, my friend.
Jeremiah, I take none of what you said lighthearted, and I take nothing of what you, Cynthia, Carlito, Melanie, Jeremiah, everything that you said, none of that I take for granted. And I take nothing for granted that is happening in the industry. All the hard work, the passion, the effort that people put in, nothing of that is self-explanatory. And neither is true friendship. And we quite often say brothers and sisters of the leaf. And we have myriads, thousands of friends on social media. But we know that, as special as this industry is, there's true friendship and there's true relationships of people who are standing side by side, helping and supporting each other. And I know that with all that comes responsibility. And from day one, I was always willing and most happy and honored to take my responsibility and do my part to help and support all the great people who put their heart and soul into this. And for that, I will forever be grateful, and I'll always be there. And I've always realized in everything that I do, none of that is about myself. Nothing's about ego, showing off, or building another big something, whether it's an entity, a business, a platform, a community. Nothing of that is self-explanatory and can be taken for granted. So I'm utterly grateful for every single one of you taking the time, putting the heart and soul into it. And I'll be forever grateful to my grandparents, my parents, my girlfriend, my entire family, people who support me. I'm entirely grateful for all the people who've accompanied me personally and professionally, and for all of you, in particular, Cynthia, Carlito, Melanie, Jeremiah, because you have become friends for me, and you have allowed me to become part of that family. And I consider you my family as well. And that just means the world to me. So for all that, I thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Mr. Reinhard Pohorec. Reinhard, thank you very, very much for being on the show today. Another episode of Fuente and Meerapfel present Meet the Professor, ladies and gentlemen, and what a show it was. Until next week, when we hope we'll be back with our one and only the Professor, and hopefully he will be back with us. If not, well, it'll be the last Sunday he won't be, but rest assured, he's there listening to us today and making sure that everything is spotless. And if it's not, he's going to come over and kick our asses. But rest assured, he's doing well. He sends his love to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much for being on the show with us today. Please remember to take care of yourselves and each other. And remember, if you don't do it with passion, don't do it at all. Until next week, my love, happy 2021. Bye-bye for now.
Happy New Year. A toast to everybody.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I believe it with all my heart that Reinhard, it isn't a